And welcome to Hannity. And tonight, she is the rising star in the Democratic Party, but almost every single day she makes news for all the wrong reasons. Radical leftist Jasmine Crockett is now facing a formal censure in the House of Representatives after taunting Texas Governor Greg Abbott for using a wheelchair. How low can you sink? Take a look.
Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now.
By the way, coming up tonight, Governor Abbott will join us to respond. But as you can see, the so-called party of love and compassion and peace is no longer even pretending to have any empathy or even basic common sense. Democrats now represent the party of rage and anger, resentment, intolerance, hatred for anyone that dares to disagree with their radical worldview. Instead of working to improve life in America, to help working men and women, they obsessively move from one political smear campaign to the next and cheer for America's failure. And this week, well, the latest obsession just dropped after a high-level White House text exchange about strikes in Yemen accidentally leaked into a far-left media hack's somehow signal messaging named Jeffrey Goldberg. Take a look.
It's obviously a very serious mistake on the part of whoever included Goldberg in this highly classified chain of command messaging that went on that involved war plans.
The idea that instead all these Trump deputies were hanging out, chatting on Signal instead, that is very noteworthy, and that's going to raise a lot of red flags.
All this information about a strike that happened was imminent. I think about all the different ways that people's lives were in danger.
This is so utterly ridiculous. It's not only a national embarrassment, this is a national emergency.
It's stunning. It's likely the biggest national security debacle that any professional can remember.
Oh, breathless hysteria from even Humpty Dumpty made a return appearance, and Liberal Joe, predictably, as you can see, the state-run legacy media mob, they're all worked up. But, here are the facts that they're not going to tell you. First, according to the Director for National Intelligence, no classified information was shared in this group exchange. 2, Signal, the encrypted messaging app used for the conversation, is approved for government use. It was actually even preloaded onto our CIA director's government phone. 3, perhaps most importantly, something they'll never think about, the military mission, thankfully, was a complete success. Now, of course, it's not acceptable for a reporter from The Atlantic to be accidentally included in a group policy discussion at the White House, but this was a one-off. This was an accident, not a nationwide crisis. On X, retired Green Beret military planner Congressman Keith Self described it this way, quote, fast-moving coordination immediately prior to any operation is absolutely necessary. This was a successful precision military operation, period. This incident carried no adverse consequences at all. The deceptive story makes a mountain out of a molehill. Good characterization. The congressman is right. And I'll take it a step further. Let me let you all in on a little secret. What is an undeniable truth of life? Most Democrats, most members of that state-run, corrupt legacy media mob that are dead and that have no influence, just don't know it yet, they don't actually care about this story. Pay attention. Per usual, it is simply more feigned, phony, moral outrage. Now, how do I know that I'm correct? How do we know, that this is not real? Well, in case you forgot, national security was not a top priority of concern for Democrats or the media in the past few years. In fact, they had no problem when Joe Biden created the single biggest preventable national security crisis ever in our history when he opened the floodgates at our southern border, letting in known terrorists, criminals, murderers, rapists, gang members, cartel members, and millions of other unvetted illegal immigrants. The very same people now are pretending that they care about national security breaches. They were the exact same partisans that flat out lied day in and day out for 4 years, and they told all of you that the border was secure and the border was closed. They also lied about Biden's obvious cognitive decline. Now, a president's cognitive decline, that would be a clear and present danger to our national security. But the radical left, these very same people that are so outraged today, they did not care, and they lied, and they all covered it up. They all knew. In fact, DOJ Special Counsel Robert Hur determined that Biden was so out of it, was handing out state secrets like candy to his ghostwriter for an upcoming autobiography. Did any of these hyperventilating Democrats, media people, did they care at that moment when it really mattered, day in and day out, when they were all lying about it? This was systemic institutional lying that they went along with. That means they don't really care about what happened in this particular case. They are feigning outrage. And remember, Hur didn't charge the former president with a crime because Joey was an elderly man that had a very poor memory and would be unfit for trial. Democrats, the media mob, they didn't care. They attacked her. They defended Biden. They were also unconcerned with Biden's disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. That resulted in the horrific deaths of 13 innocent U.S. service members. They also caused a flood of unvetted refugees out of Afghanistan. And don't forget the billions and billions of dollars worth of very sophisticated U.S. military equipment that was left behind for the Taliban, the very same group that helped facilitate 9/11/01. And to add insult to injury, Biden also abandoned Bagram Air Base, which is now vulnerable to neighboring China, well, filling the gap. And speaking of China, you might recall General Milley in 2021, the now disgraced former chairman of the Joint Chiefs, was accused of sharing U.S. intel with China, even reportedly promised his Chinese counterpart a heads up if the United States planned to launch an attack, quote, if we're going to attack, I'm going to call you ahead of time. It's not going to be a surprise. Wow, eliminating the element of surprise if we needed it. Not a good idea. According to a report in the Washington Post, he also attempted to usurp the president's nuclear authority. This is when President Trump was in office. This was a huge scandal. But once again, the state-run legacy media mob, the Democratic Party, they did not hoot, they did not howl, they did not feign moral outrage, they did not bang on desks, they did not talk about national security. They just didn't care when he even demanded that any nuclear launch go through him. No wonder he needed a preemptive pardon. So now the outrage from the left over a reporter accidentally being added, a one-off, one-time, minor accident that did not impact the operation, to a White House group chat about a successful strike on Yemen is just a political show. That is the story behind the story. Why? To distract the country from their incessant, petulant performance art, their infighting, their bingo cards. They want to smear Donald Trump and the White House any way they can. They want any political scalp they can get. But President Trump is not having it. He's not putting up with this crap. Take a look.
Mr. President, are you going to change any of the practices that your national security officials used after a reporter was inadvertently added to a group chat about attacks on Yemen?
Well, I think it's a question I've been asked now, and I've given a few answers, and they've all been the same. We have an amazing group. Our national security now is stronger than it's ever been. We have had a very, very successful, numerous attacks on that area. These are people that shoot down ships, not only our ships, ships all over the world. They're shooting down right out of the water and damaging them badly, or they're going down. They're also shooting anything that happens to be flying in the area. We hit them very, very hard. There was no classified information, as I understand it. They used a app, if you want to call it an app, that a lot of people use, a lot of people in government use, a lot of people in the media use.
Now, thanks to the president, over the past decade, Republicans have learned a valuable lesson. Never give an inch to the radical mob, and they will fail, as this latest political attack will fail, and it is political in nature. Eventually, the hysteria will burn out on its own. They will move on to the next baseless smear, slander, and, after so much apocalyptic rhetoric, the American people have lost interest. They should have learned that after the results in November. Now the Democratic Party is polling worse than ever. They're doing great in the 20s. Keep going, guys. All while Donald Trump continues to poll at record highs, which we will get into later. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.